It was a spooky October afternoon, and my fellow ghost hunter Danny and I had just strapped on our earphones and applied our butts to the couch for yet another episode. Little did we know the horrors we would find inside the minds of two infinite children. We're just glad you were here to witness, ladies and gentlemen, the adventures of Danny and Mike. The podcast.
Welcome to episode 2 of The Adventures of Dan and Mike. Dan and Mike.
Have you been drinking? It's 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Maybe a little. I haven't actually. Welcome, everybody, to the second episode of this podcast that we're very proud of.
Thanks, guys.
Yay!
To my right is Danny Tamborelli.
Hello there.
Who played Little Pete, and to his right is a bigger version of that Pete, Mike Morona, and I'm Jeremy.
He's only bigger
Jeremy.
because he's older. It's not bigger. I'm bigger than he is.
Yeah, I don't eat enough.
Well, you're still big Pete, a bigger Pete in my heart. So, y'all, what's up, y'all?
Bigger Pete in my heart.
How's your month been? It's been a month since we've. I mean, honestly, I can't stand you guys other than the twice a month that we meet. So, what's happened in between?
Feelings mutual, Jeremy.
Thanks, man.
Well, I was a voice in a video game.
Oh, that's big
called
news,
Grand
dude.
Theft Auto 5.
That's very big news.
I remember talking about that last time, and how you didn't get us a copy of the game.
Oh, man. See, I would think if one of your good friends, is in probably the most popular. Is it the most popular video game ever?
I would say if you do a podcast with somebody and you're also in a very popular video game and you get free copies of the game, that it would only therefore adhere
it's the very
and follow
least you could
that
have
you
done.
would present your partners with copies of the video
Well,
game
I got
at
one.
that point.
I got one, and
All
I
right,
can't.
we'll timeshare it.
I can't King Solomon it because then it won't work. I can't just break it in half and give
We'll
half to
timeshare
you.
it. We'll set up a schedule.
That's
we'll
fine.
timeshare it.
I'll set up my own sort of Redbox account. Is Redbox still exist?
I think it does. Yeah,
All
I think
right.
it's very popular in the sticks. In the Midwest.
It's good.
Yeah. So that's that's.
We just lost
news.
Wichita.
Wichita's down.
Yeah, it's been pretty cool. People like the fact that I say a lot of dirty words.
Yeah.
And so they're enjoying that little tidbit, that little Pete. I mean, I was saying nasty things on Pete and Pete too, but they were just clever. These are just
this is like the grown-up version.
the grown-up version of that. Yeah,
Little Pete,
I'm a little bit whinier.
He didn't
little
really
more
grow up that much.
Fake thuggy.
Yeah. He just got tattoos. Oh, wait, you already had those. Not really.
Right, just one. No, two. Just two.
The tramp stamp.
No, not a tramp stamp. I had
Remember that
I
weekend
had a
in Cabo?
battleship
Who's
on
with
my
me?
back.
What?
Nickelback.
I had a battleship on my back in addition to Petunia.
Oh, really?
Again, another
See, I
thing
don't
that Jeremy
watch,
doesn't
I don't
know
watch
because
TV.
he never ever watched The Adventures of
Yeah.
Pete and Pete.
Why do we
why
agree
is
to
he
make
even
you the
the
producer of
I
the
know.
show?
I think I
What
just
the
forced
hell are we
myself.
doing?
Remember the whole van thing?
No. Actually, we got you off a Craigslist misconnection, I think, right? You were on the F train. I was falling asleep on you. Your shoes smelled like newspaper.
I do not want to be touched by you. My shoes smell like newspaper.
Let's just move on, okay?
Let's move on. What about you, Mike? What's been happening with you? You still?
Well, I finished doing Boardwalk Empire, and now I'm working on Nurse Jackie. And the other day, an 18,000 watt light fell on my shoulder.
Wow.
I have a scrape. I showed it to Danny, but you couldn't be bothered to come over and look at the
Yeah,
cut.
I'm a little busy pushing buttons and plugging in wires. And
For the listener, it's not that bad, but we will take a picture of it.
It did hurt. No, it hurt.
Yeah.
I dropped a 18,000 watt light on myself. Then the
was
light.
it hot? Was it a hot light?
No, it hadn't
Oh,
been.
that's
It
good.
hadn't been on for several hours. I know you wished it would have burnt my flesh as well as.
Then it would have been a worse.
It would have been good
Yeah.
to have like an airy tattoo.
a stamp, a
Right on your-
backwards area
right on the side of your head.
burned into
You
my.
forever would be property of the airy light.
No,
company.
I'd be like the guy in the sequel to Indiana Jones who has the medallion
Right.
burned
Yeah.
into his hand.
Yeah.
I was in Sicily once when I was like 15 years old, and I was riding on a motorbike, and I was on the back seat of it, and we were like a block away from the coffee shop we were staying at, and it had rained, so all the oil was on the street, and the bike went out from underneath, and my calf hit
hot metal
muffler,
pipe. Yeah, the exhaust pipe
that said
You could get
Piaggio on it.
shit. No
So
way.
it straight did exactly that.
Branded you.
It branded me
Oh, my.
Piaggio backwards in the in my calf.
Is it still there?
No, because
see. Take
what's
your pants
really
off.
what's
Yeah.
really
Prove it.
you just want me to take my pants
Pictures
off.
it doesn't didn't have it.
They
Thank
gave me
you.
synthetic skin, and they put it on my burn.
They
and
graft
it-
skin on your leg
Yeah,
Holy
in
shit.
Italy, it's definitely something that wasn't approved in America.
in the hospital. Were they like smoking a lot and
Coffee.
like eating
Yeah, like
pasta?
No,
coffee,
dude, this is no hospital. I went into a pharmacy, and they're like, "Oh, you
I would
burned
like
your
to-
stuff."
yeah, can I
And
have
they
skin
gave me-
graft? In a
he
pharmacy?
goes in. He goes, "Hey, signore, can I have the skin of a little baby?"
Can
And
I
he
get
said,
it?
"Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
baby
we got
shit.
we got the baby right before
No,
we
it's-
aborted
it was
because
some-
abortion
it
is
was
free
some,
in
like-
Italy, and then we kill
jeez.
everybody."
We just went dark again.
That's really uncool, man.
I'm
saying
Some of your
jump some
relatives
lines.
might sound like that.
I'm saying this is the American perception of what goes on over there. It's not
All right,
Right.
necessarily
So
that.
I went into the pharmacy, and they saw that I burned my leg, and they just gave me this pad, and they stuck it on, and it just like became part of my skin. Like I don't have hair.
that was
Really?
I don't
that
have
was
hair that
Kuwato.
grows in that spot.
That was Kuwato from Total Recall. He's inside you. You have to give the people
You're
air.
now a robot.
Mine,
Yeah, no,
Quaid.
no. I'm saying you need to give Mars oxygen. Basically, you have to stop keeping the people.
Anyway, sorry for the derailing of the intro, guys.
Yeah, I dropped an 18,000 watt light on my shoulder and destroyed the light. The bulb exploded. The bulb's like $2,000. The lens is like another couple grand, and then
Wait, it all broke? Really? It shattered?
the bulb I heard explode. The lens didn't look like it broke when it first fell over.
That's the expensive thing, right? The lens?
They're both really
Okay.
expensive. And then the housing was also like dented in, and I tried pulling that out a little bit just to make it look less horrid.
So-
and that's aluminum, and we'll probably have to get a whole new one from
What did the
from California.
it's probably covered, right?
Oh yeah, it's
They gonna
it's
demote
covered,
you?
but
They
there
gonna
was
take it out of
there
your
was still
check?
there was still somebody, two people talking about it at the stage yesterday.
Did you
so
go
I-
to the
I felt
doctor?
I felt like I had to pipe up. No, I didn't go to the doctor. Funny you
Man?
asked.
Did you
Funny you
man
asked.
up?
I didn't even fill out an accident report, which was probably
go on
not
the call
smart.
sheet?
No, it went on the production report that
Went-
the light fell, but it didn't go that it fell on me. So
Yeah.
if I get back problems, which I did develop last night, I won't be able to get recompense for them. So, folks, please donate.
I love that segue.
That is the perfect segue.
That was my month.
Well, speaking of horrible segues, we let's talk about our adventure this month.
It's really horrible.
Well, at least I set it up as a horrible segue. I didn't try to
guess.
play it off.
Jeremy
Some
looked
people-
up.
Thanks, Eminem.
Jeremy looked up a bunch of dumb urban legends and hokey ghost stories and decided that we would make a tour of these dumb urban
Yeah, I mean,
legends and hokey ghost stories in conjunction with Danny. And I was sort of like this happy passenger. So I waited about 3 hours for Danny to get to Brooklyn.
Well, yeah, that's it. Well, the whole thing is that I wanted
Because
you guys to find a ghost. Like that's a
had
good
given
adventure, right?
a
It's
ghost had given Danny
Halloween-themed, it's
car trouble
October.
to start. That was how we started the adventure. Was how Dan got
Dan being
ghost-induced
2.5
car
hours
trouble.
late.
Ghost-induced car
There was
trouble.
a ghost
yeah.
in the machine.
Yeah,
Yeah, there was a ghost
machine.
in the machine that sheared off 3 lug nuts on the
wow.
tire, on the front
It's
driver's
like they
side
didn't-
tire.
It's like they didn't want you to go off-roading on Clinton Road.
Well, that was the thing. It was like I went to go get the truck from my brother-in-law because we share custody of this truck, and we use it for the band.
And a small boy.
Small Filipino boy. They also
Oh
share.
boy! And I picked it up, and I got like half a mile down the road, and the car was making these awful, awful noises, and like I just didn't think it was going to make it.
Okay,
at
so you
all.
turned around and brought the car back.
Right, I turned the car around, I brought it back, and all I could think of while I was driving back was, man, I'm glad that this happened now.
that
and
was-
not,
Man, I'm
not
glad
at
this
night.
disembodied head floating in my rearview mirror isn't haunting me at night. God, this is going to be weird.
Haunted lug nuts.
So we had to all, stick it in the 2-door.
Yeah, that was cool, man. It was cozy and intimate, which
Yeah.
is what you want on a ghost hunt. So our first stop was a place called Leckworth Village in New York. Where is it in New York, Mike?
Haverstraw.
Haverstraw,
New York.
And apparently this is a site where I can't even talk. Psychiatric hospital where there were a lot of crazy tests.
I'll take
the
it
first
from
clinical
here,
trials. The
Jared.
clinical trials. That's what we want to get in.
Of an experimental
exactly.
polio vaccine took place on this place. I'm only assuming that Jeremy copied correctly from Wikipedia at this point.
I think it was weird, New Jersey. It was a little plug.
And there were a number of like medical buildings and things of that nature. We selected a building that looked to be blocked, the overgrown path in front. But then when you looked, there was a huge ramp going up. It was a lot of fun to get in that building.
But there was a gentleman outside with a dog, which is a weird thing because there's like dogs. Like that's where they go to walk their dogs.
Yeah, it's a dog park now, which is really really strange.
78-acre dog park, though, right?
Yeah, it's large.
But there was a very nice gentleman. I think his name was Chuck. That told us sort of the history. We'll have that on the website. We'll have some audio of that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And sort of gave us the rundown, and also assured us. And I don't know why we believed him, but he assured us that
the cops would not grab us for walking through
we're
the
just
building.
like, all right,
oh, great!
Cool.
You said it's
Great.
okay. That's
you
fine.
said it's okay.
Yeah.
You random stranger. Oh, cool. Yeah, we'll go with that.
That was all we needed. Thanks, undercover cop.
So I mean, he sort of gave us the lowdown. We walked into this building, and people say that when you walk into somewhere that's possessed with bad energy or whatever, that you get sick, a feeling in your stomach, and that actually happened to Danny and I, and I think Mike
it
a little
happened to Mike too.
I think Mike was just freaked out.
No, I was just vocal about it. You guys kept quiet about it until now.
No,
we were talking about it too.
Yeah.
No.
It was not, but yeah, we felt like a punch in the stomach that was just lingering. Is what I felt, and it was creepy, man. You walk in, there's papers and who knows what you're breathing, and which is probably why we felt bad. But there's,
like the ceiling had collapsed, and like you know,
there's pipes hanging. It looked creepy, like somebody, it's a little creepy. But so we went in and we tried to push the subject. We wanted to give the best podcast experience to you listeners.
And the guy
that's
was
why
like,
Jeremy brought an application for his phone.
Oh yeah, I had
to
a ghost
detect
app.
ghosts. That was his let's find a ghost. I got an app.
There is an app for that, and I had it.
It didn't work. All it did was make free noises.
It just said weird. It said weird words.
Weird words. We tried to talk to them.
Words
we
like
were very nice. We were very
slurm-flurf.
courteous to the ghosts. So yeah, we went in. It was creepy. We tried to sort of push the boundaries and go into the dark spots, and it's sort of a battle. It's sort of an internal battle to get yourself to do that. Especially, I don't like haunted houses and.
Yeah, nobody wanted to go first down the once we got into
Yeah, but you are the producer, so if you step in a hole, I'm saying if you step in a hole, we can still do the podcast as Danny and Mike.
You just have to do it on iPhones.
No, I mean we could find a new producer. That would not be a problem. But if I fall in a hole, it would be the adventures of Danny and some jerk. So I would hope that would not happen.
Yeah, we wouldn't be doing as well.
It's actually pronounced Sumjerk.
Oh,
Sumjerk.
Sumjerk.
It's Jean-Luc Sumjerk. Yeah. So anyway,
we went
bad.
all over this place.
Yeah, we went.
We decided that we were gonna just do it, even though nobody wanted to be the caboose.
Right.
As we were going.
Yes, it was actually the whole trip through the place was a constant battle of not being the last person
one.
in the chain. So
it
resembled a Benny Hill style leapfrog while being scared by each room that we walked into, and like daring each other to go into rooms, and still not trying to be the last person into any place, but at the same time being scared to go anywhere.
Right. And it wasn't that bad until we got into the basement.
That was the
basement was.
The thing is, I didn't, as the bad producer that I am, I didn't bring flashlights, so we were just using iPhone flashlights that weren't very reliable for some reason.
We'd like to thank the jerks at Apple for that.
Maybe it was the ghost like messing with them. But anyway, so we did our best. We explored everywhere. There was doors slamming up above us, which probably was the wind, and then. We ran into a Australian couple that were probably ghosts.
No, they were taking pictures.
They were taking pictures.
Ghosts have cameras. Why can't they have cameras?
Because they're scared of flashing lights. Duh, trick question.
Are they really?
Yeah.
How do you know this?
What are you talking about?
That's the whole thing with ghosts.
No, I've repulsed ghosts. My whole life with light. Yeah.
They always turn the cameras off, right?
Exactly.
Isn't that what always happens?
That is true.
The camera always turns off right before the ghost comes in.
Right, you're going to get scared when your camera is
we took a lot of pictures and our camera never went off. and we didn't really. It was scary, you know, and I think we were in our own heads a little bit, but we didn't really see any.
I didn't like being
full
in your
apparitions
head
or
at all.
Hear any voices
No.
other than the
No, but
Australians,
we
which was
we
very
did
ghostly.
see some
what about the
weird
slamming
stuff,
doors?
though.
The slamming doors.
Yeah, but I think we didn't we.
we
that-
figured out that was the wind.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Because there weren't a lot of windows left in the place.
Hence the wind blowing through it.
Are you sure?
And all the locks.
So
Yeah, because that's what windows do, right? They let wind in.
I think you're right.
This
I think
type
you
of stuff.
hit the nail on the head.
I had to prove this kind of stuff to get let out of there. Actually,
So
it took a whole quiz.
Mike,
That's-
you wore shorts, what I think was a horrible idea.
Yeah, that was actually my worst
But you
move
did
of the
bring a
day.
bandana to cover your face, so you were probably less
Right.
infected than me and Danny.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Right.
die
You have
less
less
soon.
asbestos
Right.
Yeah.
in
In
your
my lungs, but I have more on my
we do.
calves.
Yeah, well,
I washed that off right away. I washed my calves as soon as I got home. I was scrubbing.
Really?
Yeah, I was in the bathtub scrubbing my calves, rocking myself to sleep.
Somebody hold me.
Nothing happened.
So yeah, that's the whole thing. Nothing really happened. It was creepy, and it was a bit scary, and
we
it was
looked
fun.
for the morgue in the basement and we
Yeah,
couldn't find it.
Yeah, because we couldn't see.
Well,
We wouldn't tell most of the place, but long story short, very unsuccessful ghost hunt for our first.
yeah,
Attempt,
absolutely no ghosts, but we did get a thrill. It was a very
thrill?
nice little.
Did you get a tingle up your leg?
I thought so, but then it was just you putting your hand on it, and I thought that was weird.
You put his hand on his leg, and you were just like, "Let's call it Mike and Danny, the Adventures of Mike and Danny."
He was trying really hard.
Didn't work though. So after that, we went to what we thought was a haunted restaurant, and we'll just say we'll keep this short by saying
It sucked.
it sucked.
Yeah.
It was not. We tried to get
It wasn't haunted.
to the place that was haunted, and we ended up just eating our food and leaving, and it was sort of a bummer.
Yeah, we
What are you
pull up
gonna
to
do?
this place. There's supposed to be 2 haunted restaurants in Hoboken, and they're end up being directly the same block,
like adjacent blocks, yeah.
right next to each other. So right then, as soon as I made that right turn to walk towards the one restaurant, I knew
That you had made a mistake.
that we had made a mistake
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that this was just total bullshit.
and all
to
the
get
ghosts,
people to
all the
go
ghosts were
there.
in the kitchen with knives. They were never going to come out on
Right.
the serving
They
floor.
had them on
Right.
staff.
The customer, exactly.
Yeah.
So that was your only chance.
So that was kind of a bummer. We sort of just ate and pieced out.
yeah, we
because
had burgers
it
and
wasn't,
left, except for Jeremy, who had a salad.
Right.
I was being very healthy.
No, it's because you're a
Well,
vegetarian.
what about your appearance?
Well, that's why I'm being very healthy. 'Cause I'm
I
a
think you need to
vegetarian.
get healthier.
That's just another thing for people to hate me for. Put that on the list.
There's a lot on that side of the ledger. I'm saying that balance sheet is pretty unbalanced.
But it was very disappointing because the
burger was undercooked.
burger was
I'm
burger
kidding.
was not.
I'm kidding.
It was fine.
I don't remember
The food
the
was
burger.
good.
Yeah, the food was good.
Was
I
it?
wanted a ghost to pull my
To
hand.
serve the food.
Yeah,
I
that
wanted
was
to
the
go
thing.
see
No,
They
it was
said
like they're
that
supposed
during-
to like
Yeah.
mess with you while you're
Yeah.
eating. So I was excited to get my hair pulled.
Yeah, you're into that. So anyway, we left. We weren't feeling it. We left, and then so we were bummed because that was the second place in a row that we didn't, have anything that sort of.
And by
made
that
us
time, it
think.
was dark, and we were driving, and it
then-
started to rain,
Oh, yeah.
and we was like, Dan would not leave until he could show us Gravity Hill. I was like, okay, we can go Gravity Hill. So we drove on
Yeah, we
the Garden
popped
State
over.
Parkway for a while. We were going to drive Gravity Hill. And it was, oh, look, we're rolling backwards. And I was like, okay. We're rolling backwards. He's like, no, look, we're on a hill, but we're rolling backwards up the hill. I was like,
It doesn't
okay,
sound like that.
all right,
Yeah.
all right, okay, we're on a hill. He's like, no, you don't understand. Look at that. Look at the highway in front of us. It's below us, but we're rolling backwards. How does that happen? And then we introduced Danny to science, which apparently he missed in 4 years of Hampshire and interdisciplinary
Wow.
studies.
I'm glad that you're.
And we moved on to our final stop of the night, which was Clinton Road in West Milford. And I'll let Dan
See-
build that up a little.
Yeah, he should, because Clinton Road is so there's so many things that's supposed to be
I said
paranormal
I'll let Dan
about
build it up a little.
about that road.
Yeah, well, this is what I know about that road. I had a cousin who lived in West Milford and used to tell me all about this road and how it's haunted and the KKK members do crazy stuff there. And she found all sorts of weird, like, animal bones in the woods. They found, like, garbage bags in the woods that they didn't want to open because they were afraid there was going to be something in it.
Body parts.
She talked about this guy, the Iceman, who was a hitman who threw bodies out on that road, just, like, dispersed them. Frozen bodies. And so my whole life I had steered clear of this road because my cousin terrified me about it.
Right.
And so I just never, even like through the weird New Jersey stuff and like everyone talked about Clinton Road and I saw stuff on TV about it, I just never crossed my mind ever. I was like, nope, never ever going on this road.
Right. It was built up to be a huge,
Right. And as a kid, you know, that you like take that seriously and that's like something that I never like, you know, debunked or whatever. So it's, as a 31-year-old adult, it was still on my mind.
With a recent podcast acquisition, you thought to yourself,
"Hey, why not do this?" I honestly didn't want to do it because I was legitimately like, "I don't. This is a bad idea. Bad road. Bad juju."
Thank goodness we didn't take the truck because it could have been a bad
Because guaranteed
thing.
on that truck we would all have been dead. Yeah. We would have gone around that dead man's curve and the wheel would have popped off because those lug nuts and. Episode 1 would have been great, and that's all. We would have been left with that
one and done. So that's sort of Danny's head going into it, and we were different. I just know the stuff that I've read or researched for it, and you know about, you know, if a tree falls in front of your car, that means you're going to get eaten by cannibals, and there's no escape, and there's so much.
So much crazy stuff. It's a 10-mile road in the middle of nowhere in New Jersey.
It's very poorly paved. It's not
poorly
maintained
paved. There's
at all.
no lights. Right. So when we were driving down at night in the rain,
listening to Typo Negative.
That was the thing.
To Typo Negative, indeed.
That was your idea, Dan, and I blame you for that.
Well, I was trying to just get us all in the mood, and I think I did a good job of that, of psyching ourselves up.
The only time we screamed, though, is when you turned the headlights off as we were driving.
Right, and that was pitch black and scary as hell.
Yeah.
Is that the only time we were super scared? Oh, also when the lights showed up behind us.
Yeah, we did have lights behind us for a hot second, but it was we debunked that as well as we figured out that was an actual car.
Oh, it was a real car
behind us. That
Not only
did you talk to the person driving it?
No, I didn't.
So it could have been a robot.
It could have been a ghost.
Oh, you're gonna go back to robots again?
Yeah,
you got a weird thing about robots.
Ghost in the Machine.
I think we debunked the whole car because the one legend is that a black truck, will fly up behind you, flash the lights, turn them on and off, and try to run you off the road.
Right.
And then, but I think what it is that, and we did it because, not that we're proud of it, but I'm actually kind of proud of it. But so was somebody in front of us, so we were like, well, if we can't experience Clinton Road and get something to happen to us, we're going to do it for someone else. So we turned our lights on and off to them and sped up, and so I think that's what it is.
We went and bought a black pickup truck.
We switched it out real quick.
Kitted it out with black pipes.
Well,
so unfortunately, even though we had Typo Negative on, rest in peace.
We took one pass, nothing.
Yeah.
Went through
what
nothing.
did we decided to do the whole flip a bitch and come back the other way and do it again.
And again,
we made a U-turn.
Nothing. Yeah,
we even changed
bitch, huh?
the Peter Steele Typo Negative to something else. Didn't work.
Yeah, nothing worked. I did kill some frogs though, but that's their own damn fault for being in the middle of the road when it's raining.
It was really rural and really raining, and as we came down this pretty narrow 2-lane road, you definitely saw a couple of frogs jumping underneath Danny's tires. And Danny, for some reason, speeding up, gripping the wheel, and smiling for each one.
I wasn't doing
that.
We likened it.
There was not a light in the sky, but every time he did it, like this red glow seemed to come from Danny. And
he would just be like, frog! Boom.
Yeah,
frog. But we likened it to some sort of a ritual.
Yeah, unholy.
Yeah,
summoning.
like a sacrifice.
Like
to be
that was
able
our sacrifice
to pass
Clinton
through
Road.
Clinton.
Oh yeah,
Road.
it was the toll.
And
You had to kill a frog to get in.
If they wouldn't have jumped into your bumper, then we probably would have gotten our faces eaten by cannibals.
Oh, but you got in trouble for all those lemming murders in '93, so don't forget about that.
Shit.
So anyway, it wasn't. It sucks. We didn't find any ghosts. I don't feel like the guys found ghosts.
We didn't.
Killed 2 toads. We had a burger.
We wanted to go to a haunted cemetery, but because of
it was closed.
Because of the truck issues, we were unable to go there. But we did have some excellent ideas for that.
How weird would it be if you guys are now haunted by a frog, a ghost frog?
Just hear constant ribbits
And
forever.
you like wake up and you look over and he's on your pillow just staring, and like red eyes just staring you down.
You kiss him and you marry that prince.
That's right. I mean, right? Isn't that what they were going to the road for anyway? Was to make whoopee?
No, they want to catch mates. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Marry above their station.
So
in the road.
that was the adventure, and I think it was fun. I had a really good time. I feel like a lot of good things were had, but no ghosts.
We got scared and
We
yelled a
didn't
couple
produce.
of times, but we did not manifest any ghosts. We did manifest some garbage. Like I know I brought chips and a can and a bottle of water, and I took all this.
It was very nice
of
of you to take all the garbage
Yeah, I
out of
removed
my
all my
car.
recycling from the car.
Unlike Jeremy, who just left it in the back seat.
That guy? Oh yeah,
Well-
he'll take the dishes out of your sink before he pisses in them, but he's not going to do the dishes.
I think that's a weird. What? What does that mean?
I'm gonna add that phrase
To
to
your
my
repertoire?
lexicon.
Yeah.
That was pretty great.
All right, guys, give me your rundown on this adventure. Tell me.
Sucked.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, so you didn't find any ghosts. But,
No. I mean,
but
by the time this comes out, I obviously will have gotten my comeuppance from a ghost. So I'm just kind of setting the table. I'm setting the table right now with my strident disbelief
Right.
you're setting the table with pea-stained dishes.
because Jeremy slept over last night.
But I'm not doing the dishes.
So what about you, Danny? What do you give me? A
I
wrap up.
learned that childhood dreams can still be broken.
Yeah, we crushed you.
And,
That was the big.
For me,
his
for me
cousin-
that
his
was
cousin
like,
was just messing with
my
you.
cousin was just messing with me, and that's probably the greatest prank ever. Probably been going since.
Oh, you're singing
It's like
now. I use it. That's my thing. I like that.
Yeah,
I
so
liked it a lot.
thanks, Amy. You did it. That was a great, funny, haha joke for 20 years. I appreciate it.
Well, I figured as you became an adult,
No,
the Easter
she's
Bunny
still-
went away.
I know,
Santa Claus went away.
I know.
Why didn't Clinton Road go away?
I don't know. I don't know why. It's just something it's some weird New Jersey.
Yeah. No, I
Like,
hear you.
It's as someone from New Jersey, we used to
We
want to
had-
believe all that weird New Jersey stuff because it's sort of like, Jersey, man, it's weird. Like,
We had Crybaby Bridge, and it was. I think it's like when you go there midnight or whatever. At night you hear a baby crying because it drowned in the river. Somebody drowned it in the river or something like that.
did you drown it in the river?
I drowned it in the river.
Terrible.
I would never.
You heard it here first.
I go like.
Was that in
I wouldn't do
Lynchburg,
river.
Ohio, where you're from?
No, it was somewhere else, like 30 minutes away. Anyway, all right. I feel like you guys still gave a great effort.
Oh my God! What's moving there across the room by itself with nobody touching it?
That's me, actually.
I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't
Jeremy.
for you meddling kids.
So I think you guys did a great job. I think you put everything you had into this ghost hunt, and even though you didn't come up with results,
We tried.
I still grade it.
And we
complete
got a kick-ass
success.
guest.
We also didn't talk about the fact that Mike had on ghost glasses. He had on these.
yeah.
We
had-
forgot
had
all
some
about
bug
this.
eyes.
I had
Yeah,
a ghost detecting sunglasses.
Check out the
Yeah.
website. We'll have pictures.
Yeah, we'll show you.
We'll have
We'll
pictures,
show you
all
those.
kinds of stuff on the website. Check it out, theadventuresofdannyandmike.com.
Yeah, we didn't look weird at all,
No.
as you can tell from the pictures.
And now we get to talk when we come back with Chris Gethard about some of these crazy places because he worked at Weird New Jersey.
Very cool
Can't
guy who knows very weird
Wait,
things.
it's going to be fun. We'll be right back with Chris Gethard.
How old were you when you read like Stephen King, stuff like that?
I actually hate scary
Or
movies
horror.
and scary books and stuff like that.
Okay.
But when I wound up working at Weird New Jersey, it was inexplicable because I'm like horrified by all that stuff. I still can't watch scary movies.
Really? Oh, yeah. I remember you like live tweeted a scary movie you were watching.
The Shining.
The Shining. Oh, my God.
The first time I saw it was 3 months ago. I didn't make it all the way through. I hate scary movies.
That's all right. You can sometimes have to take those in installments. And
Couldn't handle it.
they made an
Did you take
abridged
a break
version.
while you were watching? Did you
It's-
like stop, or did you just try to go for it full force?
Because I had to go for it full force because IFC wanted me to live tweet it on their network. But I'll tell you what it is. It's like the pacing and the music and the jump cuts. Like they really get me.
You have a physical
Yeah, dude,
response to it.
psychological is the best form of scary in my
I can't
opinion.
take it.
How about Hitchcock? Can you watch that kind of stuff?
No, I just avoid it all. I don't like.
But
I
give it
don't
a shot.
understand it.
This is not a direct analogy, but my friend thought he was allergic to alcohol forever, and then like splashed some on his skin and thought he would die and that type of thing. And eventually he splashed some on his skin and he wasn't. Like with rubbing alcohol, couldn't even have it type of
Yeah.
thing. But eventually he wasn't. So you could eventually be not scared by.
But I
movie.
don't get what's enjoyable. That's like an unpleasant physical sensation, being scared. So I don't understand the entertainment value.
I think
that
we just want
rush,
to get out
though,
of.
I
Yeah, we
think.
want to get out of how we feel all the time, sort of nothing ish.
I understand that
Feel
impulse.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess.
and it gets dark earlier in the day. You know, you're getting out of school or whatever, and it's already getting dark. You know,
Yeah.
you say you get home, it takes you a while to get home. It's already dark.
like
out.
the
You're gonna go
perfect
out and-
storm.
Yeah, you're gonna go out and play. No, you're
I
gonna
like comedies. I like finding more
yeah.
happiness,
Yeah, get
more
in-
happiness, and joy in the
Caddyshack,
world.
man.
Yeah, go
Caddyshack's hilarious.
Go inside and watch
Top
like
10
Why wouldn't you
favorites.
watch Caddyshack? Why
Over
would
The Shining? I would watch Caddyshack over The Shining
every time.
Every time.
One makes me feel really good. The other makes me really, really off for
Wow.
days.
It's cool, man. We were scared.
your tournament, your final 16 tournament is going to be like a no contest.
It's all airplane. and
exactly.
that lady in the tub in The Shining.
Yeah.
I've never had anything more unpleasant happen to me in my entire life.
Man.
Why was that? Why did people pay money to see that? It was so unpleasant.
I
Before
thought
that,
about
they paid
that
money to
exact
make it.
scene while we were in Letchworth Village, and we were in the actual hospital, and we opened one of the doors, and it was like a single stall, and then this like dirty ass, disgusting tub. And I definitely thought about that specific scene.
Did you guys just go in by yourself?
Yeah, we
We had a guide, Clorox Bleachman.
we met some dude who was walking his dog around the grounds, which is also, I think, really weird that like all this weird energy and like horrible stuff that happened there is now just like a park that everybody sort of like
Yeah, a lot of
walks around.
Jersey people just go, they get
when
out of
we
their car,
drove
run
in-
around, walk their dogs. That's what we saw.
When we drove in,
Letchworth.
there was some dude who looked like a creepy 80s style serial killer, like with the big mustache and the big wide glasses, like sitting in his car doing nothing, not eating, just like sitting there,
Not
like,
sipping coffee on a
taking it in.
stakeout.
taking the whole like take like and
I don't like that at all.
Oh,
He
dude,
wasn't
But
totally.
we went there during
When we came
daylight.
back.
That was the
Yeah.
best part about Letchworth was we went there during daylight and didn't fuck around.
And that's what I was gonna get at too when you were saying that. So like, yeah, I mean, that place, I would not have stepped in it past dusk. Like as soon as it, like, even when we went downstairs in the basement, there was no light. And like you heard like the doors like slamming upstairs, petrified. Like Mike and I both were just like,
What's it's weird about me though, like I've been inside, like I think half a dozen abandoned mental hospitals at this point. I can go to them. I just don't like movies about them. It's a very strange thing. in my
They
life.
take the worst parts and magnify them for you in a way that makes you respond.
And I think the fact that I'm in control, like when I'm there, I can run away. I can like suss out if it's safe to enter or not. I like being in control. Like I enjoy scary things in real life, but not fictional. I don't like fictional scary things.
What about a documentary about something scary that happened?
That I can do. That I've watched many documentaries about all sorts of terrifying stuff, but the actual being manipulated
But
by
they have recreations in them sometimes.
yeah, I don't know. It feels
It just-
better to me. It feels better to me.
Oh, okay.
The
okay.
music, I don't
Okay.
know what it is. It's
Wow.
the fact that I'm being controlled and
Oh, yeah, yeah.
manipulated.
Yeah.
I don't like that. But the Letchworth, going in there is great. When I went there, I found all these like files and documents and stuff that I took home that I still have.
They were still there. There was
Yeah.
still quite a bit there. If you want to go grab them, there's still boxes.
Yeah.
and they're disgusting,
Yeah.
covered in just
Mold.
stuff that we breathed.
yeah, oh
it was
yeah,
bad.
yeah. We
Yeah.
definitely came back with a case of something.
I haven't felt
Black
good
lung,
since then. Yeah.
asbestos poisoning.
I don't blame all my problems on Leckworth Village, but I think I'm going to.
What prompted you guys to go on this tour of mental hospitals in particular.
Basically, this guy.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I was thinking about checking into one, so I wanted to see.
I've been there a
what was
couple
going
times.
there.
I've been there a couple times over the years.
And in Jersey.
Man.
Yeah, big time.
I worked on a documentary a few years back about a place called Penhurst, which was a mental institution in Pennsylvania. Oh, yeah. Same type of involuntary committal type of issues and really bad care. And they had a case that went all the way to the Supreme Court that said people have a right to not be showered with a hose.
And do you know what that place is now?
It's
a
abandoned.
Haunted house.
Yeah, it's
I'm
abandoned.
not even kidding you. They
sell
turned it
tickets
into
to?
a haunted
Smart
house.
That's
business.
the oh, we
Yeah.
looked
Smart
at that place,
business.
actually. That's right.
I can't do that stuff, man. I can watch scary movies and I love them. I cannot go to a haunted house. I couldn't function. I can't.
That
I don't even like
do.
thinking about it.
I really like that.
You can do that?
That haunted house
Yeah.
sketch on Saturday Night Live. I have to admit, I really don't like a lot of the sketches on Saturday Night Live, but the haunted house sketch I like a lot.
I don't remember that.
Where the guys with the triangle come, the robots, and they're like they keep getting closer and closer to the couple, and they're going to eat them. Okay, next topic. Good talk.
My scariest mental hospital story was when I was like probably 21, 22. I was working for Weird New Jersey, but I was still in college, and there was this girl I was madly in love with, and the only thing she thought was cool about me was that I worked at Weird New Jersey magazine. So I used to like drive around with her and go to the spots and try to like show it off in just desperate attempts to woo her without ever actually asking her out or expressing my feelings about it, you know?
Yep.
And I brought her to the North Princeton Developmental Center, which was like an abandoned mental hospital. I thought that was a great date, even though it was not a date at all in her mind, because I never mentioned that I wanted it to be that.
You were just strumming that one string
Yeah.
really hard.
And she was like really petite and pale. She was like this little girl, and I mean, like I'm not a physical specimen now, let alone when I was 21 years old. I was like, it was a really bad idea, and we snuck in there. We went up to the top floor of one of the buildings and walked into a room that just had a desk with an open Bible on it, which was like, oh boy, here we go. And then we went down into the basement, and we were walking around, and she got so scared, she picked up, there was like a piece of slate that had been like dropped and broken. Ooh. And she picked up a corner of it, and she was like, if we see anybody, you have to stab them. You like have to stab them with this. Like,
she grabbed a shank immediately.
She found a shank.
Living
A
or
shank.
dead, whoever walks near us, I want you to stab.
We were down there, and again, I found all these piles of documents and stuff. I actually found a handwritten nurse's log that I took, which was amazing. Like reading, we found 2 of them, and taking them was amazing.
Wow.
Not only the commentary, but like the loopy handwriting.
Yeah, it was handwritten. It was like you could feel the human touch that once went into this place. But while we were down there going through all this stuff, we had the absolute nightmare scenario of hearing the door open and footsteps above us, like someone else came inside.
Yeah.
And it was like real. We had to like find another door out of the basement and just get out of there because it was real. We were like, "Oh, it's the Bible guy. It's whoever reads the Bible. It's the guy who reads the Bible. He's here."
Bible man is angry.
He who walks between the
You
rows.
turned a page without asking.
No, wait, you grew up in Wyckoff. That's near like Franklin Lakes, right?
Yep.
So do you know about the guy with no eyes?
The guy with no eyes, yes.
That was a great
the
story.
Midnight Walker.
The Midnight Walker. I never knew him, but even in West Orange, which is pretty far, that's what, like an hour?
No, like
half an hour, 40?
35 minutes. Yeah, 287 made it a much easier.
Yeah.
Than it was.
Yeah.
We heard about the man with no eyes.
Dude, so the deal with the man with no eyes, and I talked to him. He's it's not like he
It's an
died. I
actual
think
guy.
he actually died a couple of years ago. I think
that
recently.
sucks. That's sad.
But yeah, his daughter got hit by a drunk driver or just someone late at night on this road in my town, Cedar Hill Avenue, and he would just walk up and down the road all night. But he was blind, or he had very bad sight. He didn't have like his eyes weren't like gorged out of his head or anything. But he would just stay on the side and just walk up and down, and he liked to talk about the weather.
And
That
the
was
story
his
was
deal.
that he'd like any car that came by, he'd like stare
He'd stare at them. Yeah, he would.
because he was trying to see if it was the person who killed his daughter.
Oh, no, I think he was just staring because he's like, oh, there's a car coming and I'm walking down the road late at night and I just stare at you as you go.
Yeah, I mean that's the story. That's the story we heard.
Oh, well,
But that's one of those things too, because I always heard he was like a pretty nice dude.
Very nice
And
guy.
then we write about him in Weird New Jersey, and hordes of teenagers would just drive around honking horns and harassing him.
Yeah,
That's the problem with
that's
notoriety.
Publications, yeah.
well,
The public sphere.
it's okay. There's a lot of I guess I hope I didn't just debunk that myth of the no eyes and all
Demyth
that
that
stuff.
bunk?
Demyth that bunk or debunk that, I don't know what the fuck I'm
Midnight
saying.
Walker. I mean, that's a pretty cool
The
name
Midnight
too, man.
Walker. Yeah, when I was
Yeah, you heard about
when my
the
band was still
Midnight
like a
Walker?
trippy hippie jam band in like the early 2000s. We wrote a song called The Midnight Walker.
Nice.
So we were like, all right, we wrote a song about
Local legend.
Yeah, the local legend.
And you had Gravity Hill. You have Gravity Hill
Gravity
right there.
Hill on Ewing Avenue, which we
It was
did.
not proved.
You
Which
did-
we
oh,
did.
really?
Well,
Not proved.
He's not on the Gravity Hill.
Not
train.
proved.
Danny, you
we
seem
did
disappointed.
it. Well, because from what I remember, I did it when I was younger.
If it happened.
he
And I
seems
don't
disappointed
think.
that you are not sold on it.
Yeah.
Oh, I was disappointed that everyone in the car
Yeah,
wasn't
exactly.
sold on
We
it.
So it didn't work?
Yeah.
No, I mean it does
It
work.
started to.
It started to go back.
He's like, look.
It
in
did.
front of
Like,
you.
look,
Look.
no, I put the car in neutral, and I was like, look, there's the highway that we just got off of, and I just put
It's
the car in
below
neutral,
us.
and it started to back up.
Yeah.
And we're like, all right, this is happening. And then a car came, so we had to go around and turn around. And one of the people that was in the car with us, who's a landscape architect, she said, "Oh no, it's something about the pitch in the road and yada yada yada."
I said pitch as well.
That's what you get for bringing a landscape architect on an adventure.
They ruin everything.
You can't bring a
They
landscape
ruin
architect
everything.
anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
Oh, there's specific instances where they're very good, but
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, when you're looking for,
Look, if you want to put plants in acid wash jeans and have them on your front porch,
yeah,
that's
So-
landscape
which you
architecture.
should do.
a pro
I think
tip.
so.
You absolutely should put plants in acid wash jeans.
Oh no, a pro tip is to sew the cuffs closed first because
Oh,
it makes
right.
the filling much easier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would
That's a
think
good
so.
idea.
Yeah,
I
and
would think
ripped
so.
jeans let you actually put strawberries. You could do strawberry plants.
Oh,
if you have,
really?
if you have ripped jeans, so strawberries in every
The
little
vines, yeah.
So we went around to try to do it again, and then I went only halfway down and put the car in neutral and it didn't do anything. And I was like, oh man, this really sucks. I was like, I could have sworn I went all the way up this hill, but I guess
I think that our
I didn't.
what we gathered from all of our ghost hunting and all of our locations is that we killed Danny's childhood, basically.
Yeah,
Everything that
because
he
Clinton
held.
Road too, all the weird
Oh,
New
Clinton
Jersey
Road's
shit.
the best.
Oh my
man.
god,
Well,
I like
Clinton
that
Road's
the best.
Yeah.
Did you go there at night?
Yeah,
We did, but we
went
didn't go
there
at
Yeah, we
midnight.
didn't go
Late
at
at
midnight. We went at 10 o'clock.
That place is the best. I've been chased out of there. I found animal
Really?
bones all over the road.
See,
up
Weird
there.
animal
good.
bones?
Yeah, like
sheep
stripped,
dogs?
like
Would you-
stripped
Yeah.
down.
Did you ride?
spines.
Did you ride your BMX over there? Like, how did you get
No,
over there?
we used to go up there when I was in high school. Like, I started working at Weird New Jersey when I was 19, and it's because when I was 16, I started just writing them letters all the time. But we used to drive up there. Clinton Road is in West Milford, New Jersey, and it's like a 10-mile road through the middle of nowhere. There's nothing going on. And we would get chased out. There was one time, there's little dirt roads that come up against it. It's like a mountain on one side and a reservoir on the other, and there's some little dirt roads back there. And I've been driving down there where cars will just all of a sudden their high beams will come on from the woods, and we just would get out of there. I think that's a really and truly genuinely scary place.
I believe that my
Danny would
whole
like to
life.
believe that too.
My cousin lives or grew up in West Milford, and she was maybe almost 5 years older than me, so she, would
Fill your
play
head.
like that. Yeah, totally. Just when you get your license, you come visit.
Yeah.
Uncle Freddie and Aunt Chrissy. Don't go on Clinton Road, man, because blah blah blah. This happened. This has happened. I saw this happen.
So you're a dreamer, and you just went to all these places with a car full of skeptics.
Yeah, and
was bound- it was
my
bound to
dream,
fail.
but my dream
We
was
set
kept
'em up to
alive because
fail.
I never, I was like, I don't want to go to these places.
Did you get out?
know?
Did you throw the quarter off the bridge to see if the ghost handed it back to you?
We didn't do the
No,
turn
because
up.
we
The
didn't go to
problem
mid.
is we were listening to Typo Negative really loud, and
That was
it was raining.
Danny's idea.
It was pouring rain.
You got to turn off all the music. You got to turn off your
Is that what-
headlights.
we didn't do it justice. We didn't let ourselves.
It's a real
it's the-
long trip to just drive
it's the
around listening
midnight
to
thing.
music.
No, we did. Yeah, we drove back and forth because we went one way and
Yeah.
nothing happened. We're like, fuck this. We're gonna do it. We're going back. I'm going back around, and we went back around the other way. and nothing happened except we turned our lights off. And,
He admits it.
And ghosted for a hot second and then turned the lights back on.
Yeah, we were scared as hell.
So we might have scared the car that was in front of us.
There was no car in front of us. There was a turn.
Look at
There
that.
was
One of you
never
saw
a
a car.
car.
The car was there.
That
The
car,
car
never
was there.
existed.
The car was never
That
there.
car never existed. Yeah.
I think the scariest thing was the dead man's curve because we almost missed
Yeah, we
it and
almost
went
ate
straight
shit.
through.
So
That's
Straight
when you
up.
that's when you
Yeah.
turn the
No,
lights off.
that's
for a
not when
second.
I turned the lights
second
on.
time. The
Dead
second
man's
time.
curve is when you want the lights on.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
exactly when you want the lights on. That's true.
My first time we ever did anything like this, I was 17. I just got my license, and we all found out about Midgetville in New Jersey,
yeah,
which,
we-
is very-
yeah.
Yeah.
which is like a great story. And Midgetville is on the same road as Annie's Road, which is this road where they say a girl got hit by a car and there's a blood stain on the road, and every time they repave the road, the blood stain comes back and there's a ghost. And there really was a couple kids who, there was this thing called the Hail Mary murders where there were these kids who became obsessed with Annie's Road and used to go and sit in their car all night looking for the ghost, and then they killed one of their friends in the car while they told him he had to say the Hail Mary, and they all were saying the Hail Mary together, and then one of the guys came around his seat with a belt and choked him to death. It was really, like, there's really messed up stuff that's happened there, and there's a graveyard on one side of the road, river on the other, Midgetville's along that road. And we were kids. We were all 17 and 16. A few of us had our licenses, and we'd heard about it forever. So we were like, we're going to go to Annie's Road. We're going to go to Midgetville. Let's do it. And then when we got there, I don't know what we were thinking, but we were like, let's sneak into the cemetery. It was like 12. It was like maybe like 11:30, and we parked in Totowa, which is a town in New Jersey. It has so many cemeteries. There's actually more dead bodies than living residents. That's how many cemeteries are in Totowa.
That's how I
That's
like
a
my
crazy
town.
fact.
Yeah, and we went and we snuck into the cemetery. My friend's dad had caught us. We were about to leave, and he was like, "Where are you guys going?" And we were like, "Oh, we're gonna go sneak into a cemetery." And he was like, "That's cool, man. Carson, you got to bring your little brother." And he made us bring his other son. His dad was super cool. His dad used to listen to WFMU radio and had like all these old, like he had like the first appearance of Spider-Man. He had like, he was like a real, we used to always like play instruments in his basement. He was like the coolest arts. It was like a very artsy family. He was like, "Yeah, no, that's cool. You got to bring your little brother." So we had to bring this kid who was like 11. Oh man! So we snuck into the graveyard,
cemetery.
like giant, like a gigantic graveyard, and we went in there. And the little brother immediately got scared. Was like on the verge of tears, like 10 minutes in. So I was like, "Yeah, all right, I'll take care of the kid, whatever, man." And was like kind of playing it off like he had ruined my night. And in reality, I was like, "Thank God, I get to get out of here." But then we were like, I'm walking around this town with this little kid, and they're straight up like old men opening their curtains and staring at us, because I think like the only reason people go there late at night is to like mess with these ghosts. So they knew what we were up to. I'm walking around with an 11-year-old blonde child. I'm 17 years old. They're all staring me down.
You're not carrying a ritual dagger, though.
Yeah, no. I mean, at the very least, I'm not part of the problem. But they all of a sudden we hear all this like this din of screaming and chains rattling from inside the graveyard, and we're like, what's going on? And there were I think 3 cars of us, so there were 15 kids.
Wow.
And this Brian, my friend's little brother, he's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "I don't know, everything's fine though, dude. Like, I'm sure everything's fine." And then maybe 2 minutes later we see his brother and our friend Steve Feynman, who was like 6.5 feet tall and probably weighed 85 pounds, is the tallest, skinniest kid I knew. They were sprinting in terror towards us, absolutely sprinting. And as they ran towards us, Steve held up both his hands like palms flat to us, and he was just bleeding like Jesus, like stigmatas, like blood running down. And it turned out what happened was like we were just in there taking like flash pictures, making all this noise, and I guess there were these cemetery caretakers who were like used to kids sneaking in there, and we were just like, we had flashlights and flashes from our cameras and stuff. And I guess right after we left, these guys pulled up in a pickup truck next to our friends, and they didn't hear it, and they had a floodlight in the back, and they just flashed this floodlight on them, and all my friends scattered. And Carson and Steve wound up together, and Carson, there was a big fence, and Carson hopped it, but Steve was this like really gangly, uncoordinated dude.
I just did that to myself.
Yeah, and he was trying to hop the fence, and he couldn't get over it. And so Carson's in this nightmare scenario where he's hopped the fence, looking through the fence, seeing these caretakers walk towards our other friend. And he's like, "Carson, like, Steve, they're right behind you. Like, they're right here. You gotta hop the fence." He's like, "I can't hop the fence. I can't." He's like, "Dude, they're right there. Like, they're right there. They're like 30 feet away. You have to get her. They're running to us. You have to get over the fence." Steve, you know? And Steve eventually just took his palms and pushed them on the top of the fence and sliced his wrist apart. But I didn't know any of that. I just see my friend running and bleeding like he's been crucified, screaming, and they're like trying to fill us in on all this. And then we had to just like wait by these cars, but we figured the police had been called, so all our friends are coming back one by one, like covered in dirt and crying and shit. And my friend Antoine was the best. He was like, he was like, you know, like very, very into The Cure, and he was raised, he was a child of divorce, so his dad wasn't around. He was a very feminine guy is what I was saying. He was straight, but he was very feminine. He used to paint his nails, and he wound up slipping in mud and falling down a hill and rolling the entire distance down this large hill. And he said while he was rolling, he kept feeling like these flat rocks. He was like, ow, ow, ow. And then he realized they weren't rocks. It was those flat gravestones that don't stick out of the ground. Yeah. So we had this kid who was like really into like goth music, rolling in mud, bouncing off gravestones. Came back to the car just crying his eyes out, like completely traumatized. And then there was one kid with us who was actually
the country now.
Yeah, I mean, there was one kid who was he was actually like a very distant cousin of mine. Not that I grew up with him, but he grew up like in this other section of town that was like pretty rough, and he never came back to the cars. And we were like, what happened to Dan? And I was really the only guy who knew him. I was like, oh, he's fine. Like if any of us are fine, it's him. Like he can handle his shit, you know? So we finally were like, we got to get out of here. The cops are on the way. Like, we got to try to find him, but he might be arrested. Who knows? So we're driving down Annie's Road alongside the graveyard. This is, again, a road where people have been murdered. There's a whole town that's supposedly full of little people that throw rocks at you, and there's a blood stain in the middle of the road. We're driving down there, and we come around the corner, and on the yellow line in the center of the road, we just see Dan, like, hauling ass with, like, the look of, like an animal, like a wild animal fight or flight face, you know? So we, like, peel out and pick him up, and we're like, what happened? What happened? And he's like, oh, I dropped my camera, and it was my mom's. And he was like, I didn't tell her I was taking it. I basically stole it. It's really expensive, so I couldn't leave without it. So I had to circle back. And he said, he was like, I dropped it. I was behind a tree, and I dropped it like 3 feet away from the truck where these caretakers, I could hear them plotting on how they were going to get us. And I had to like slowly walk around behind them, pick up the camera, and then they saw me, and he went on this epic chase through the whole graveyard that led with him sprinting down the middle of one of like the scariest places in New Jersey. That was a great introduction to the world of ghost hunting and adventuring.
Good first night out.
It was great. It was one of the great nights of high school. One of the great nights. And then years later, I ran into my friend's dad, and he it was at an event that he knew I was going to be at, and he brought a picture of all of us when we were 17 and 16 about to leave, and we all looked so young and innocent. It was really weird to see.
Mud stains.
Yeah, clean. We were so clean and fresh.
Oh my god!
I just keep seeing like high school Robert Smith rolling down a hill.
That's exactly who he was. He modeled himself after Robert Smith. He wore eyeliner and had the same haircut.
The goofy hair.
Very, very cool kid. But
that's what I can see.
The last kid, it broke my heart to know that he took a tumble. He took a tumble through a hillside graveyard. Yeah, it's really. Although what did make me laugh in like a very like Simpsons-y way, imagine him being like, ow, ooh, ow, ow, and then realizing what they were and crying while rolling. Sprinting in mud-covered fear.
Yeah, we didn't have anything good like that happen.
You guys had to get out and walk around, man. You seem so heartbroken about how it went.
He's legitimately bummed.
My whole life, I was like, "No, don't ever go on Clinton Road." Like,
so you know that whole.
I know, I never
and we
went.
built it up. Like I had, ran through like the list of things that happened there.
The KKK, witches,
witches,
murders,
the Iceman.
The Iceman is
the best. Have you watched those documentaries?
No.
On HBO? They have these 2 documentaries where they just sit down and just straight up talk with the Iceman.
Oh, really?
And what's crazy about him is that he's not crazy at all. He's killed like 90 people.
He's very matter of fact about it.
He's just straight. There's one part where he's like, yeah, like one time I came into possession of a crossbow, and I was like, this thing can't possibly actually kill somebody. So I drove into the city, and I was in Chelsea somewhere, I forget, and there's this guy walking So I pulled up my car. I was like, hey, man, I'm lost. Can you give me directions? And the guy came over and he leaned over my window and I shot him in the face with a crossbow. And it did. It killed him. I was wrong about that. Like, that's how he tells stories about killing people.
In Manhattan?
Yeah, he just shot someone in the face with a crossbow and then drove away. No, he got caught because of Clinton Road.
He got caught because the organs in a body that he disposed of didn't thaw at the same rate as the outside, so they realized it had been stored elsewhere.
That's why he was the Iceman. He used to freeze his bodies before he dumped them, so you couldn't tell when they'd been killed. The Iceman, Richard Kuklinski.
He messed up there.
But I had heard all of this stuff growing up from my cousin.
And then you just went on like a leisurely drive
I went
through
on
the
a
country.
leisurely drive. Like we tried to put typo negative on to make it a little bit
Set
more
the mood,
set the mood a little bit. It was
pitch black
raining.
and raining.
And no one was scared at all. I mean,
And it
that's
was-
got to be on you
No, we
guys.
were
a
scared.
little.
No,
We were scared.
but before
So you wanted
we
to
got
like
there,
actually get attacked by a coven of witches, though.
I wanted something to happen. I
Never
wanted
have you
that.
ever
I
wanted
wanted
more.
that car to come up behind us with no lights and then flash the lights on.
There were no dummies. You didn't see any dummies hanging in the woods or anything?
no dummies.
People used to do that.
None of that.
Really?
When I worked at Weird New Jersey, they used to someone hung a dummy in the woods that said Weird NJ keep out. It was actually really scary for us. So it was like, oh, they're
Really?
actively telling us. Because, I mean, you'd write about something. We wrote about Clinton Road, and I'm sure thousands and thousands of kids went there and bothered. But not
Right.
many people live on that road, so
Right.
I can't imagine who was hanging dummies in the woods to threaten us.
That's what.
Well, what
You
else
know.
would they use that land for?
It's true.
Moonshining?
I liked it up there. I like it.
I was happy that I did it, but it was sort of like that
Heartbreak.
growing up.
We didn't get out of the car. It was raining. We didn't
It's
get out
true.
of the car.
We didn't get out of the car because it was raining, which is probably
Get that.
us being lazy.
No. We didn't have
More than
umbrellas.
anything.
We didn't have umbrellas.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
So I might
I
do
wore
it. I might do
shorts.
the whole thing again on my own.
But
At
Thanks
midnight.
a lot.
what about Letchworth? What about Greystone? You had to be freaked out there.
We didn't end up going because we didn't want to get
Arrested.
we didn't want to get arrested.
Greystone is you're just
Yeah,
cop
you-
bait
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
But Letchworth is terrifying.
No, Letchworth. Honestly, we walked in and all three of us got.
We walked in and I got asbestosis.
Well, yeah. Aside from that, we all just felt like weird and bad. Didn't feel like we should have been
the
in
wind
there.
made the doors slam
The
upstairs.
wind made the
They-
doors
see, it's
slam
the best.
The
upstairs.
photographers with Australian accents, which is always like...
Yeah, there was other
There's always
people
Yeah, they
there.
walked in
There's
there.
always somebody with a foreign accent in a horror movie that seems out of place.
You guys ran into someone inside who had an Australian accent?
Taking
Yeah,
pictures.
two of them taking
wow.
pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, walking
Two-
around.
two
and did they
humans.
yell out like, "Hey, there's people in here," to like warn each other?
Not
so
at first.
much
I
as
think they
just
heard us.
walk
They
plainly
heard us
into
walking
view.
around.
Yeah.
We heard them walking around, and then we came around a corner.
So
and it
that
was like,
there
oh,
is-
we're here.
There's that initial moment of like, who,
what
who
the
is
hell
this
is
about
that?
to
I
be?
tried to shake their hand and I just fell right through them.
Wow,
Ghosts.
wow,
Totally
Australian ghosts.
Australian
Yeah.
ghosts in
Hanging out in
Jersey.
Rockland County.
Yeah, Rockland County.
Yeah, but when they dissipate the opposite way. Counterclockwise.
When I was a kid, we used to. The
good
one
one.
we used to go to was in like Verona, New Jersey. It was the Overbrook Mental Hospital. We all used to call it the bin, the loony bin, and we used to sneak up there.
Yeah,
and there were
Overbrook.
skinhead kids that used to hang out up there. It was an intimidating place, and I went up there once with my friend Dan. He lived right near it, but I don't think he'd ever been. So I was like, oh yeah, let's sneak up to the bin. We'll go up there. We went up during the day. We're in this building that it was kind of famous. It was called the Welcome to Hell building because there were 3 steps to get into it, and it said "Welcome to Hell" spray painted on each of the 3 steps. Like, it's pretty intimidating. Like, you feel pretty good as a kid if you actually make it into that building. We were walking around and we're up on the top floor, and it's one of these places where each room has like the old decrepit beds and files and like drawings inmates drew on the walls when they went insane. We were up there and there's like one bedroom that had sheets on the bed, like somebody'd been squatting there, and really freaky stuff. And then all of a sudden we heard all these voices, and there were just more and more of them. And we looked out the window and there were all these like shirtless kids, like muscleheads, carrying straight up bats and hammers and stuff. And Dan and I just looked at each other, and it was like pretty obvious they were like a bunch of other teenage kids looking around, but we were like, oh, like we gotta like, first we were like hiding out, like, what should we do? And then I was like, if we surprise these people, they're gonna kill us.
kill you.
They're gonna actually beat us to death. Like, these guys came, they're all charged out, they're probably like hopped up on something, and they came with weapons thinking they're going to see a ghost and they're going to mistake me for a ghost and kill me.
You are quite pale.
Yeah. So from the top floor, I was like, hey, we're in here. And they were like, started screaming at us. And it turned out they were all these like jocks from Wayne. And
Wayne.
Yeah, Wayne, man. Exactly.
Did they
right?
came there? They come there and have a
Fucking
fight
Wayne.
or something?
They came there. They were like, "Yo, we heard this is one of the gates to hell," and I was like, I mean, it's scary, but I don't know if you can actually access hell. And then they were like, we heard there's underground tunnels. And I was like, that's true. And they were like, you know a lot about the place, huh? And I was like, yeah, I've been here a bunch. And they were
And
like,
they took you hostage in that place.
no joke, dude. It's almost correct. They forced me to show them
give
where
them
the
the
tunnel
tunnel
entrance is.
You were C-3PO, and,
Yeah.
then the other guy was R2.
They did. They were like, show us how we can get into the tunnels. And I knew where the entrance was. So I took them there. And they were like, cool, you go first. And I was like, come on. So I'm like crawling through collapsed tunnels under an abandoned mental hospital. A bunch of shirtless kids from Wayne. Which is like
at that point.
yeah, at Hammer. I just
Hammer
remember
point.
the one kid with the hammer was their leader.
He's practical.
It was really...
Bro, you first.
Whoever
Yeah.
wields the hammer leads the men.
So
you
that was a
got
bad
out
one.
alive.
I did, but it was scary. That was a scary thing as a kid. To be in those tunnels with those kids all behind me. It was like, this is not... This could end very poorly. You know, one of those situations in life where while you're in it, you're like, this is not smart to be a part of this.
This is where you could convince a jury that he was not.
Yeah, I was liable for my own
Exactly.
behavior in that
Exactly.
story.
I'm sorry. Just,
In Purchase, underneath SUNY Purchase, there are all these maintenance tunnels and stuff that we used to walk through just to get from building to building when it was freaking freezing out.
Would the school let you do it, or people would sneak
No,
through?
no, it's not allowed. But you would only ever see like maintenance people down there. Maybe I saw a cop down there once. I used to even ride my bike through those tunnels. Actually,
Really?
Yeah, it was cool.
Whoa.
Well, I enjoyed.
Were they like steam tunnels?
No, they weren't like half pipe, like rounds, like
yeah, that would be cool.
corrugated metal, with steam coming
Yeah.
down like Tango and Cash in jail.
That would be
no,
awesome.
It was not like that. It was like it's just like a big
Tango and Cash reference number one.
No, I know. Every episode has a Tango and Cash.
Oh, I hope that's true.
We're two
It's
for
a new-
two for
it's a
so
new
far.
segment.
We're 2 for 2 so far. They would keep these tunnels underneath all the buildings, and the campus was arranged like a big horseshoe, so it kind of made sense, and you could get to a lot of places without getting above ground. But kids would try and go further, and there was graffiti in different places. I never got to any place freaky. I would just access it from the natural sciences building to get to the dance building.
At Rutgers, I used to do... the first place I ever did comedy was this theater on the Rutgers campus, and it had a locker room in the basement that we used as a green room, but that was because it used to be a pool, and it was shut down, but there was this one hallway where if you went to the end of the hallway, there was a door, and you could pry it open, and there was this gigantic abandoned in-ground pool filled with garbage and stuff. And they said that the reason that they couldn't use it anymore was because someone had drowned in it. So they just shut it down because it wasn't worth the trouble. But that was surrounded by tunnels. Like, you could access this haunted, abandoned area by tunnel and then hang out in there. And people used to... These theater kids, before my time, it sucked because I guess they all got caught. But these theater kids, like college theater kids, they used to go and throw, like, drug-fueled orgies in this abandoned pool.
Dungeons and Dragons sales
they got
dropped
caught.
precipitously at that point.
Yeah. They got caught, like, 2 years before I got there. Which I was mad because I missed the orgies. I would have an orgy in an abandoned pool.
A
That sounds
drug-filled
awesome.
orgy in an abandoned haunted pool
That
where
sounds
someone
like-
drowned.
Oh, that would be my dream.
Yeah.
That's like what I want my wedding
Ooh,
reception to be.
Is that a syringe or a banana peel of garbage I'm stepping on? I don't know. I'll just continue with my orgy.
Well, I've done it, and let me just say, you guys, it's all out of whack. It wasn't that cool.
Really?
It's painful.
Really?
It's the Clinton Road of orgies.
It was a letdown.
Oh,
That's
that
basically
bunk
what
has
I'm
been
saying.
demythed.
There you go.
Demythed.
All right.
Innocence lost.
Chris, so we interact with our Twitter peeps.
I'm into that.
every episode. So this episode we wanted them to write either a real or fake ghost story under 140 characters on Twitter.
Okay.
Really hard to do.
So
Yeah.
if you're cool, maybe we'll each read one of these.
I'm pretty
sounds
sure he's
great.
cool. Otherwise, we wouldn't have invited him. So
Thank you.
that's
Oh,
kind
he
of kind of a what do you
Thank
call
you
it?
Did you
so
hear the
much.
too cool for school come out of Mike?
No,
It's
I'm just
like-
annoyed
it
because it's
just
like no, that's a prerequisite.
permeates.
You have to be cool to come on here. So like
You're-
if
you're right.
it's
You're
a
right.
when you're cool. When you're cool, you can start reading these questions.
All right, I'm into it.
Okay.
Wow.
See, apparently he's cool now, Jeremy. Go ahead.
Thanks for doing the legwork, Mike. All right, so okay, so there's 4 of them.
Okay.
I'm gonna start.
1, 2, 3,
All right,
4.
this is from. I know it's convenient. This is from Amy Button at Amy Button. A friend and I once saw a hanging lamp spin wildly, then abruptly stop during Ouija. What else? Preteen girl poltergeist power. That's our whole story.
Do we have to read it like the way you just read it?
You have to
It
put some
was
flair on it.
really what is this? Oh
Should
yeah,
do.
Lauren Searle LaBelle at Squirrel LaBelle.
Okay.
Went to a women's college with tons of ghosts, and when I took stone masturbation showers in the dark because my roommates, what the fuck?
I love this story.
Hold on. Went to a
Stoned
women's
masturbation
college with tons
showers.
of ghosts,
Let me-
and when I took stoned masturbation showers in the dark because my roommate, and also just because, I guess this is a 2-part. The curtain would always get pulled back when I definitely didn't touch it alone in a locked room. Gay lady ghosts need porn too.
All right, there's a lot of questions I have about this.
That's the best.
I mean, first it's
Yeah,
it's,
she sort of cheated 'cause it's 2
280
tweets.
characters and not.
Honestly, though, you could probably just
140,
stick with
but-
the first one.
Oh, okay.
And
She spent her college years getting high and masturbating in the shower.
That's
how
that's
did she word it? She said stone.
She
Shower
took
stoned.
stoned masturbation showers.
She would get
In the
stoned.
She
dark.
gets stoned.
Because
Turn on
roommate
the
and
warm
also
water.
just
Because of her
because
roommate.
everybody
Turn on the
understands.
gentle
No,
warm water.
everybody understands that the need to be alone. So
Yeah.
you're gonna
Right.
go.
She took that.
There's
Do
very
in the
few places.
dark.
No, there's very few places when you can be alone. Also,
Yeah.
if you have a roommate, not masturbating with a person in the room might be something that you want. If it's good masturbation.
True.
Go in the
I
shower
went to
with the
Hampshire
warm-
College and I had singles my whole. I
Oh,
never
that
like had
rules.
roommates, so
Does
I
everyone
was
get a
free to
single at Hampshire
masturbate
College?
whenever
Yeah,
I
you have to
wanted.
be free to create or
Everybody just gets a
masturbate
single.
or
Yeah, it was
procrastinate,
like
whatever, all three.
each of the dorms had a bunch of singles, and then on each side had like the one double where either 2 people would stay or like an upperclassman who's like
Would live like
would
a king.
live like a king. Exactly. Yeah. Just try to keep us individualists, everybody segregated by their own.
Now, do you feel like
Beautiful
you missed out
4
on
walls.
the communal college experience, or was it you just
No,
got
I mean
to
it
live
was
a
much
private life?
easier. Like I got to do it. Like I said, man, I could masturbate whenever the fuck I wanted.
Yeah.
it was pretty great.
Yeah.
But
as you retain
the
that
ultimate
right
freedom.
now.
yeah, I know. I'm just saying, yeah, it's
a free
you know what? That's
country.
what I learned in college. That
Yeah.
when you're in your room alone, you can masturbate as much as you want.
Yeah.
You also
No,
got a
but-
degree though, right?
I did. I also did get a degree not in masturbation, in interdisciplinary
minored.
studies.
You know what? I think that's actually Esperanto for mental masturbation.
I was
It
once
might
caught
be.
masturbating in college by my own girlfriend.
Nice. Something we have in common.
It was
Something
really,
we have in
really
common.
shameful. It was
Something
so
we have in
shameful.
common.
She walked into my room and then just shut the door, and it was really, really shameful.
Was that it? Like, did that seem to be,
She like opened the door. I was sitting on my couch, which faced the door, just furiously masturbating. And she opened the door and just went, "Oh," and then shut the door.
Fuck.
And I was so ashamed.
Oh,
and
you
then
fuck.
I covered up and just laid in the fetal position. And then she came back in like 2 minutes later and just laid down and held me. What? I swear. And I was like, "I'm so sorry." She's like, "No, I know guys
It's
do
okay.
that."
It's
She's like,
okay.
"I know guys do that."
This thing happens.
I was
Here's
like,
a towel.
yeah.
I know guys
Wow.
masturbate furiously facing the door.
Yeah.
Because they want to get caught.
It was really bad. I should have locked the door.
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't lock the door. It was
You got caught too.
It was college.
Oh boy.
Yeah, my girlfriend walked in. I put down the Japanese anime or whatever.
What?
I was,
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
looking at. Put it down. I think she just
Convulsing
started.
with disgust.
I think she,
Actually shaking with disgust.
Oh my god.
I'm kidding. And I think she just.
No, you're not.
She just like laughed and turned around and went out again. And
Mine was really actually traumatic.
Yeah, I also think that her coming back in and then holding you would probably also be traumatic because I don't know necessarily if that's what you want at that moment.
I was depressed so often during those years that I think she immediately knew like he's gonna be so sad that I shouldn't even be mad. I should just immediately start comforting him. Oh my God. We just skipped straight to like.
She seems awesome. That's a
that's
very
so
nice thing
nice.
to
She did
do.
the first 3 stages and she went to acceptance.
Yeah, she's got 2 babies now. Her life's great.
All because she comforted a little fetal boy one day.
Yeah.
I never got caught by my girlfriends masturbating, but my high school girlfriend found my stack of Penthouse magazines.
Really?
Yeah, that was a point of contention, I guess.
I would imagine because Penthouse is a little hardcore, right?
Yeah, Penthouse is hardcore. It's not like Playboy. You're
I
just
don't
trying
think
to
you can
read
be a
the.
little hardcore.
But they do have centerfolds, and they do have
centerfolds, but there is straight penetration.
back.
That's what
Like,
I was.
you get like
you know,
2/3.
that's what I want. That's what I was going for.
Yeah.
I'm really not
Gotta-
comfortable with this.
Oh.
I just like the articles. Mike, what's your question over there?
Other tweet.
Give us your tweet.
Under 140 characters? Sure thing. This'll make you question reality and everything you thought you believed. Ready? Here it go. And that's from at L91 ELLE.
Wow.
That's a very creative one.
That's the Hitchcock of those tweets.
Yeah.
It's psychological.
We're
You can
dwelling
think about
in
it
the
what you
negative
want.
space of it. Okay, wait. Oh, number 4. Okay, this is from Spencer at the Sixler. One time, pictures kept falling off the walls. Then you could hear wailing, but nothing caused it. A person died there earlier.
Also-
I think he just lived near like a train station.
Yeah, it lived
And they were
in
doing
every
construction.
Yeah, like the train would come by, he'd hear the whistle, that was the wail, and then the train would shake pictures off his walls.
I think we
Nailed
have that one's explains. That's not a ghost at all, right?
So you're
See,
welcome, I guess, is what we're
guess-
saying.
I guess.
we figured
Sorry,
it out.
Spencer, I just crushed your story.
It was
Immediately.
crushed.
All right. I think
Ready?
I think that's about
the last time we thought Chris was going to show up.
I apologize again.
I tweeted out fuck, marry, kill Chris Gethard,
Yeah,
myself, and Dan
everybody
Tamborelli.
killed me.
Yeah, it's weird. Do you want to? Would you like
killed
to read
all.
some
By
of
the
them?
way, they
Would you like
killed
to read
all
some
of
them?
us.
Here
They
you go.
killed
Dude,
all
no
of
joke, they
us.
all killed me.
Would you like to read?
I felt like they all called me. Marry Mike, fuck Danny, kill Chris.
Yeah.
Jeez.
What else?
The guys were
There's
good.
one
The
that-
guys had
there's
good
a-
responses.
There's a dude that said he would
Kill all of us.
viciously
Kill
kill
all
and
of
fuck
us.
all 3 of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird.
That
And
was
then another
totally
guy-
scary. And you don't have to
another guy
put his
said he'd
Twitter
marry
handle
you.
out there.
We should, dude. Another guy said he'd marry you because that leads to more fucking. To you, he said no offense, but I would just fuck you. And then to me, he goes, "You were the only one left."
So
Oh,
Yeah. Then this guy
Man.
Joe Bridges said, "Honestly, we're all fucked because I'm married to the thought of killing you 3 and myself."
this is appropriate.
Joe Bridges is not okay.
Ghost story. It's not
what
okay.
the fuck? So we'll send a direct message to him asking him to step away from
Yeah.
the ledge and
Blocked.
and
There's
all
one guy
social
says he
media.
fuck Danny. They all want to fuck Danny and marry Mike.
It's
Yeah,
because,
what
it's
is that
just,
about?
It's because of the show. It's like I was the stable one and he was the impulsive one.
That's-
He's the
I
one,
get that.
He's the one night stand and I'm the
Yeah.
dependable learner.
story of my life.
But this last guy, this is a girl.
Keep complaining about everybody wanting to fuck you. That's a great.
Yeah.
This is
That's
a
a great
girl. She
thing.
says she would kill me, although a last name like Gethard makes me almost reconsider.
Yeah, she should retain you for fucking.
Oh,
and
man.
I'll,
that joke never gets old, huh?
Oh man,
Jesus
it
Christ.
never stops. It never stops. Now, like people on Twitter will tweet Gethard jokes at me, and then immediately be like, "Yeah, I know that's like got to be played out." Like they make the joke and then apologize before I even have to say. Like,
Before you
it's
can
not.
even
it should
respond
come,
to it?
Yeah, it should come prepackaged with an apology.
Yeah, it rarely. I don't know. It sometimes bothers me, but rarely anymore.
How about now?
No, now I'm comfortable with it.
How about now?
I'm good with it.
He's
How about
still
now?
good. He's still good with it, I think.
Gethard thing isn't bothering me, but this feels really aggressive.
All right, now we're
It's-
switching.
yeah,
it. Mike's getting
Mike
killed.
tends to get aggressive.
I'm sorry. My blood sugar got low. I'm going to have a donut.
It's okay. All I've eaten today was that donut.
You want another
Was
one?
it good?
No, it was great.
Yeah,
I
red
think I'm
velvet
good.
donut.
All right.
No.
Yeah,
All right.
delicious.
Yeah.
Okay.
For a bunch of redheaded
Donut eaters.
dudes in a
Yeah.
basement apartment.
Yep. Talking
Yeah.
about Tango and Cash.
That was the primary topic of this discussion.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, if you guys remember anything about this podcast, please remember Tango and Cash.
Yeah.
All right, Chris. What do you got? Any plugs? What do you got?
The ChrisGethardShow.com is the public access show that I do.
It has good bands.
Where we linked up. Thank you. Yeah, we have bands, and
It could have one better band.
It has
someday.
good characters.
Dude, let's see, make it happen. Did you talk to the bookers?
No.
Yeah, we got the
We
bookers.
should.
Just tell
Yeah.
the bookers you want to do it.
All right.
It was good.
It was fun.
We had a good time.
We had a really fun time.
Yeah,
when
we
you
had a
guys
great
were on.
time on your show. You've been
Thanks.
doing some awesome stuff.
Sorry to interrupt
Zach
your
Galifianakis
Oh, that's okay.
cutting
Cut people's hair.
people's hair, man. That was pretty hilarious. Was that kid really 17?
That kid, yeah, he is 17.
Does his parents have to sign something at that point?
No, he told me his parents said it was okay before he came, and then after
Wow.
broke, I'm breaking stuff. After the show, he told me his mom did not give him permission and was furious at me.
Yeah, it's like how do you give a tattoo? How do you give a
You
tattoo
take a
to a young-looking
17-year-old
person?
kid at face value.
Yeah.
It's rough. I remember.
Shaved his head on public access to a child, and then Zach Galifianakis yelled at him. It was awesome. Check that one out.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Chris
Thank you, guys.
Gethard, thank you.
Fun.
Thanks, Chris.
Scary.
Ghosts.
Yeah.
This whole
Ghosts.
podcast is haunted.
This whole podcast is haunted.
If you listen to this, you're going to die within 7 days unless you make 3 other people listen to it.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. I like that.
Although that
a
never
lot.
works with email, I like it. I like it in this case.
And also, if you email somebody, you can get some money from Nigeria. That's a separate thing. Never mind. That's
we'll
a
talk
different
about
thing.
that on episode 3.
All right. Thanks so much.
My uncle the prince.
Tango and Cash.
All right, guys, that's it. Gethard has hopped on the G train, gotten out of here, and I just wanted to say thanks for listening. Next month, we're going to be at Stanley's Kamikaze in Los Angeles doing a live podcast. So if you're in the LA area and you're going to be around, come out and see us and say hey. And one last thing, at the bottom of the page, there's a donate button. And if you like the podcast, please donate to it because it can only help us bring you better content. So thank you for donating, and we'll see you next month.
So there you have it. As we shut the door on another adventure, we remember the lessons we've learned. Stay off Clinton Road after midnight. Don't eat burgers and expect to get your hair pulled. And so forth. But most of all, remember your fake television brothers are here for you and will always have your backs. Adventure after adventure.
The Adventures of Danny and Mike stars Danny Tamberlin and Mike Barone. The show is produced by Jeremy Balin and Marianne Ways. The podcast is part of the Feral Audio Podcasting Collective and can be found on their website at feralaudio.com. For more information on how you can contribute to the show, whether it be joining us live during one of our adventures or submitting questions to the guys, visit our website at theadventuresofdannyandmike.com. Also, look us up on Twitter at Danny and Mike with "and" spelled out, and on Facebook at facebook.com/The Adventures of Danny and Mike. Thanks for listening.
Feral Audio.